Good morning, Astrolifers. So, the weekly updates, and obviously I will talk about today as well. And then I will keep on going this week, every day, because there's a lot happening into this month. So it's important that you know what's going on, what's happening, and that you are prepared for it, because there's a lot of aspects for the moment that are obviously massive in getting us ready for the changes. Well, we are in the changes, but there is even more changes happening, as I said, September, especially mid-November, and so on. So it's interesting to actually know what's going on. So, but there's a couple of subjects I'm just going to clarify straight up, because a lot of people have been asking me about that. The first thing is, do we see that as a negative? That aspects, I've got a lot of people saying, okay, well, Muriel, you'll tell us that when they do meet those two planets, it is linked with what is happening this year, which is Pluto and Jupiter. Pluto, the pandemic, the transformation as well. That's the planet that is linked with the fact that there is a pandemic, but there is also, Pluto is all about transformation. And it is linked with Jupiter, which normally obviously brings luck. So we're not going to say in the sense that what has been happening obviously has been lucky as such. Definitely not, especially with all the people who have been affected by it or have disappeared because of it, or things like that. But on a bigger scale, the planet of transformation, the fact that we needed to transform as a planet or as a society, with everything that we can see now coming up, the people in the power, not all of them, thank God for that, but a lot of people who were corrupt, or even satanic, or even the fact that we were destroying the planet Earth and things like that. All those things needed to change. So on a bigger scale for humanity, was it a really bad thing that we suddenly protected planet Earth, and that suddenly we were making sure that we're not doing the same things in the future? Because if you start looking at people like Zach Bush, who I really, really appreciate with the work that he does, or any other people like that, on a long run, we were actually affecting the survival of the human species. So there was a lot of changes that needed to be done. So do we see them as a negative, or do we see them as a positive? Because a lot of people were like, especially the people who know a bit about astrology, were like, hang on, you keep on saying Jupiter is the planet of luck and expansion. Well, if we think about it, for the human race, it is luck and expansion, the fact that we are going to be changing, or even that we had a break, with the pollution and all those kind of things. So it's a big debate there, but again, I will strongly keep on telling you, think about it, taking us to a better world. I don't want you guys to think it, but what has been going on as a negative only, even if obviously we went through and we still might go through some negatives. All that was for changing. And even if we don't see it for the moment quite yet, because there is this tower of power linked with those planets in Capricorn, it's really the tarot tower, taking more and more control, and forcing us more and more to do certain things until that tower is going to break down. And which I start seeing mid November 12th, 13th, and then obviously also in February, when all those planets will go from Capricorn to Aquarius, which will be a big shift in the way we are living, and a lot more humanistic, as I always say, for a better future for the human race, and more kind and understanding, and more understanding, exactly right, that we are part of it all, that we all are part of that universe, and that we should look after each other. I keep on saying that, but that is going to be very, very much into people's mind in the future. So it's important to get ready as well with your thoughts. So that is the first thing. A lot of people are asking me, why is this happening with Jupiter, the planet of luck? And another subject I'm just going to clarify very quickly. There is not another star sign. You haven't changed your star sign. You are still the same star sign. Even NASA has written a letter to the astrologist to apologize. It was taken out of context. The planets have not changed. We haven't got a new planet in the solar system. The planets are the ones that are affecting us and that are creating a star sign. like the moon affects the tides, which has an impact. The constellation, it's like a paper wall. I want you to understand that the constellations are pretty to look at, and yes, you can recognize different star signs and other things in the sky that looks like different kind of figures. Actually, in the next few days, you'll be able to see the Scorpio one. I will share it so you can have a look what it looks like, because obviously depending on where we are at, we can see one constellation more than another, but it is only like a wallpaper. It looks pretty, but it's got no effect direct on you, on your star sign. Okay, so no, it has not changed. That is more again to make people not being sure. Astrology works really, really well, right? It's a tool that always works when, the stars meet. When I did say, end of June, there will be again a second wave, and here we go, and things popping out and all those things, and Ghislaine got arrested, and the second wave in Victoria. Obviously, those tools works really, really well. So it's part of the plan to kind of confuse people, because in that case, if you have adapted even of your own identity, if you have adapted even in your own star sign and who you are, just imagine how lost you will feel, right? So I see it more as a conspiracy type of thing, or people wanting to create, more kind of like a wave, of news or, things like that. I was invited to go on a TV show last year in New Caledonia just for that, to explain but it's true, it was in French, so only the people who speak French could see it. I did share it, but it was obviously in French. So yes, no, you haven't changed your star sign. You are still the same person. You can still rely on the stars the same way as before. So do not get confused. Keep on going. Everything is clear on that side. It's just the constellation they're talking about. Okay, let's go to the week. This week is massive. You need to take this week very, very seriously. Yes, there is the Lion's Gate, and yes, obviously it's opening on the 8th, and that's when there is the alignment with the pyramids. I will talk about that a little bit more, but tomorrow I will explain what it means, and yes, a lot of things that actually are absolutely fantastic, and that is why it's incredible that we have those pyramids in Egypt. I cannot wait to go over there. I was going to go once and then I couldn't. But yes, definitely something that is very important. I will talk about it tomorrow. Actually, it's an interesting subject. So what's going on this week is massive, because before we reach the 31st here in Australia, or the 30th if you are in America, it's very, very important to make that week count. So you need to do your paperwork. You need to do anything that is important. We do have an aspect between today and tomorrow where we've got Jupiter, which is sextile to Neptune, which is a very important aspect of 2020, which is all about a loving aspect. Neptune is all about creativity and beauty and well-being, and obviously Jupiter, as I say, it's the planet of luck and expansion. So for the moment, create also who you are with that Lion's Gate, which is all about the truth. So be ready to have a lot of truths coming up. As I did say, until the 31st, it's kind of okay this week because of what's happening. So no, it is okay actually. But there might be some truth already started because we are still under the influence, obviously, of the new moon, which was linked with the sun and Saturn. So long term, and obviously those aspects in Capricorn. So a lot of truths are coming up, and people that are starting to see authority that they respect or not, by the way, because that is what it's waking you up to. Do you trust the authority? Do you want to keep on being, looked after or imposed by, that power? All those kind of things are popping up, and that's why you can see all those things, everywhere on Facebook, the news. Do you trust what's going on, or do you not trust and want things to be done differently? So never really an easy time when you are asking yourself those big questions, because there are big questions. It is changing the society that we are in, which you need to know is going to change. Okay, some people were like, are we really going to be changing the way we are living? Yes, we are. I prefer to be really, really clear when some people are saying, are we going to, is Trump the last president? It is completely possible. It is completely possible that we will change even the way we are living, that people will say, no, just to give the power of one person, we don't like it. We want to have different representatives to make sure that we have control of the decisions that are being done or not. There's a lot of changes, and those changes are going to be done, even though the massive ones are being done, September, definitely in November and February. It's going to keep on going like that until the end of 22, beginning 23. So there's a lot of changes happening. As I did say last year, the way we live with the institutions is never going to be the same. We are changing, we are modifying. So yes, so today very important because we've got that aspect with Jupiter that is sextile Neptune. So very, very important to know which part and what you want to do into that society, and which part you are going to be playing in that future. So go back to yourself, what seems true. That is all about that. It's all about truth. So, I was seeing someone, a friend this morning, who was talking about a book that she read over the weekend about truth and about how many people lie to themselves. Do not lie to yourself anymore. Really say who you are, which role you want to have into this world, and how you want to be helping others, or how do you want to be participating to that planet. Be really, really honest, because the more honest you will be, the easier that passage, that changes will be for you. So be really, really honest about the place that you want to have. We do have a little bit of opposition, as I was saying. There is Mercury that is opposed Mars. So if there's a little bit of confrontations today in business or with an associate or things like that, it's normal, and that is between today and tomorrow. There is an opposition there. But as far as creativity, it's extremely important. So I really want you guys to work on that. Finish the paperwork that you need to do. If you've got anything that needs to be handed in, do it today or tomorrow, but at the latest you want to be doing it on the 29th. Why? Because on the 30th we are going to have Mercury that is going to be opposed Jupiter. So anything that you are going to be writing down or exchanging or signing at that point, especially that Jupiter is in retrograde, is going to be not getting you anywhere. Mercury is the planet of communications, of contracts, of decisions and things like that, or speeches, expressing yourself. But when it's opposed Jupiter, that's going to create a problem, and it's definitely not going to take you where you want. So that's a day to avoid any conflicts. It won't take you anywhere between the 30th and the 31st. So avoid any kind of conflict. We will still have that aspect that is positive with Mercury trine Neptune. So that will be great. But you don't want to be tackling or doing too much on those days, the 30th or the 31st, simply because it can be overwhelming. And you might also, it's going to be hard for you to focus because of that opposition with Mercury. It's going to be hard for you to focus. So it might be not easy to do things that are important. Creativity is still good. There's no problems with that, because Mercury being trine Neptune will help the creativity. That will be fine, but not anything that is down to earth. You don't want to be signing any contracts or anything that is, taking you to a matter that is, down on the ground, that is important, or contract or things like that. You don't want to be doing anything. So really, technically, creativity this week is awesome. Work on truth and knowing who you are and standing up for your truth, and saying what you want and what you don't want in the future is massive. It's really, really important, and do that work, because there's going to be a lot of things popping up in the next few days. So know who you are and what you stand up for. It's very, very important, because in the next 2 weeks there's going to be a lot of things popping up because of the oppositions that we do have to make those changes into the world. Obviously there need to be some stuff popping up, so it might be a little bit disturbing because there's a lot of square and a lot of oppositions coming up for the next 2 weeks. So you want to make sure that you have finished in the next 2 or 3 days the things that are important, lodging your papers or doing whatever you need to be done that is extremely important. Work on the creativity for the rest and keep on being creative. You want to be launching things in September, especially from the 14th, and even more from the 14th of November. It will be definitely time to be launching anything that is important. Yes, you want to have finished everything before we reach the 30th. or 31st, because then we will start the oppositions, and Mercury opposed Jupiter, that's definitely not a time you want to sign a contract or do something important. So that's it. So today, great. Again, great with Jupiter sextile Neptune today and tomorrow, and work on creativity and finish those things that are important. It's really, really good. It is a really strong aspect of 2020. I did write opportunities, especially for creativity. That aspect only happened in February, and will happen actually again in October, around mid-October. It happened mid-February, and now it will happen mid-October. Things like that, things that are important, aspects that are important, they usually meet 3 times. Again, we go back to the pyramid. Very important, that's number 3. The self, the knowledge, and sharing it with others. It's like obviously Pluto and Jupiter. They did meet already twice, but they will meet again the 3rd time. So that's it. Enjoy this week. Do everything that is really important now to make sure that in the next couple of weeks you are not overwhelmed by things. Do not worry, and that full moon coming up on the 3rd, on Monday, next Monday, will be obviously a cleaning one. There is some oppositions, but I will talk about that as we go. Otherwise, do not worry. From the 17th, 18th, that new moon will be a good one, and we will be able to start implementing some principles for yourselves, and then after that, getting ready for September coming up. That's it. Have an awesome day. I shall talk to you tomorrow morning. Bye, everyone. Bye.